Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a New Zealand derby. The Blues hosting the Hurricanes. These two sides are within the top three, which also means that there are many points on the line. Because theoretically, we look through at this table. This is how it sat before this match got underway, and also before that Waratahs victory over the Fijian draw. The Tars actually move up to 7th as we currently speak. But the Hurricanes, if they win this contest, they can separate themselves by maybe 4 points or so ahead of the Chiefs. If the Blues win this game, they guarantee themselves, at least as long as it goes well, with some sort of maybe bonus point in the equation too. Plus with the Crusaders head-to-heads that they have still got remaining, 2 New Zealand derbies, I would say a win here for the Blues secures them the home playoff. Now, home semi, different story. Because, of course, in Super Rugby, you have a lucky loser scenario. Whoever is the highest ranked loser, they will get to continue playing in the semi-finals. But, yeah, the Crusaders are on the Blues' heels at the moment. And if they don't get themselves the victory at Eden Park here, and the Crusaders can somehow beat the Chiefs next week, she gets very close at the top of the bunch for the end of the comp. But looking through at the Blues starting lineup, it is Ofa Tuangafasi alongside Bradley Slater and Marcel Renata, slotting in as the 3. Patrick Tuipulotu, the captain, alongside Sam Derry. It's been a dangerous duo since the return of Tuipulotu from his injury. Malachi Rappling at 6, Anton Segner number 7, and Hoskin Satutu, he slots in as the number 8. Papali unavailable for this round, but hoping to be back in the later stages of the competition. Sam Knock alongside Bowden Barrett as that 9 and 10 combination. We've seen Stephen Petafeta get himself a few starts as of late, but they've gone back to the experience of Barrett here. Caleb Clark out on the left wing, Peter Aki and it is Taili as the number 12, Lamb out on the right, and then Zahn Sullivan at number 15. For the Hurricanes, it is Xavier Numia, Safua Moa, and Pasilio Tosi as the front rowers. They've been quite rotational with their squad as a whole, this Hurricane side, particularly in the front row, as well as the loose forwards. The locking duo, Caleb Delaney alongside Warner Dearns, with Brad Shields at 6, Peter Larkey 7, and Devon Flanders as the 8. No Duplessis Karefi due to a little knock that he did take last week as well. Looking through at the 9 and 10 combination, it is Eritara Eneri and Ruben Love. Now, Cam Roygard is still unavailable for this Hurricane side for a little bit longer, but they have the return of Love now back in that number 10 jersey. Kini Naholo getting his first start since returning from injury. Came off the bench last week, got himself the double within a couple of minutes. Geordie Barrett back in the midfield with Billy Proctor. And then also Fihi Whinianofo, he moves to the right wing with Callum Harkin at number 15. We are about 12 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, do let me know your score predictions. The Blues are on a 5-match winning streak versus the Hurricanes at Eden Park, is a stat that's just popped up there. We've got the Auckland are going to get caned, says Tama. I Blues by 15 or more. Let's go the Blues, but I think the Canes by 20 plus points. Who will fill in for Damian McKenzie next week, says Fortnite NBA. I would say more than likely they'll go Jacob 10, Hutchinson 15. I think that's the easy switch that you make. And then when it comes to the bench, I'm not 100% sure who they would want to go with there. They will have options, though, of course, the Chiefs. But, yeah, I think Hutchinson starts alongside Josh Jacob as that 10-15 combo. Evening, Hamish. Let's go the Blues, says Setimus there. Yeah, I hope you are doing very well. I hope you're excited for this matchup. I know that I certainly am. This is one of those New Zealand derbies that you always get a little bit more hype for, definitely at this stage of the year. Haven't kept up, but is that a 6-2, says the underdog pick? So it is a 5-3 for the Hurricanes, 6-2 for the Blues. The reason that the Canes didn't go with 6-2 was because of Karefi's injury. Discovering force game, no one. That one's just getting left alone for us this week. But that game does have some significance. The Reds, of course, wanting those points to try and secure their spot currently within the top 6, the Reds. Whereas the Western Force, they are second last in the standings, but still have a chance of qualifying in the top 8, depending on the results do happen in the future. But both sides just making their way into the tunnels before heading back out to get underway in this contest. Go the Blues, says Tyrone there. And talking about, it's been a wee while since we've seen the Hurricanes get themselves a victory at the stadium, but the Blues, they've been a little bit up and down at times throughout the season, but they've actually found a fair amount of consistency in that April stage, with the exception, of course, of that loss to the Hurricanes earlier on in the season, 42 points to 19. They lost to the Crusaders in May, but winning up against Moana, the Reds in Golden Point time, and then the narrow victory over the Highlanders at Eden Park. It's a bit tricky to know, though, because looking at the last 5, of course, they've won those 2 at home, but that game up against the Reds was actually away. It was in Christchurch for that contest. So just the one game at Eden Park in the last 5, but it was the victory up against the Highlanders for the Hurricanes. They had that win over the Blues. Of course, they lost to the Chiefs narrowly at FMG Stadium. They then beat the Brumbies in the Super Round, beating the Crusaders the week after, and then most recently and notably the win over the Moana Pacific side, 50 points to the 19. But this game, it is Barrett versus Barrett. It is All Black versus All Black across this lineup in multiple positions. This should be a good contest, says NZ, right? It certainly should be. Normally, these two sides know how to tear the house down when they play, which is why I think we're either going to get exactly that or we're going to get a kicking-orientated game from both sides. And they'll play completely different tactics to what we've seen throughout the rest of the year. What's your prediction? The Blues will be tough to beat at Eden Park. But I do think the return of Love, the return of Naholo in the starting side, and it's just a stacked backline for both teams though, isn't it? I'll go Canes by 5, but you're going to have to work extremely hard to do so. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Blues win by 5. So I think either side by that 5 or less, it's definitely on the cards here. And what did you make of the Tars Drua result? Tars had a brilliant first half. They were absolutely flying. The Drua fought back well in the second half, scoring 28 points to the 14 of the Tars, but it was just too little too late. The side that let that first 40 minutes just completely slip out of their fingers. Unlucky for Caleb Tangitao, was guaranteed starting winger. Yeah, he's gone now. Caleb Tangitao saw it on his Instagram that he said that the year is over for him, which is a massive shame because he has been in some brilliant form and definitely wasn't the equation for All Blacks bolters. Tell you what, we're losing a lot of players either to injury or overseas at the moment in terms of potential All Blacks players. I know the last one that was talked about quite a bit was Devon Flanders. The reason I use him as the example, of course, going to be playing in the number 8 jersey today for the Hurricanes, but he's no longer in the running due to him going overseas to Japan. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see who's actually available for the overall selection. We have got there up the Canes. Let's go, boys, says Sammy. And while Jordan going overseas, says Fortnite. Not that it's been confirmed yet. I know that Stephen Perafeta is all but gone. Speedy recovery, definitely a bolter, says the Underdog. And also, the Western Force playing. They are playing up against the Reds. So they are going head-to-head with a side who are sitting currently in 6th in the overall standings. The Western Force are sitting in 10th, but they are close enough that they can still technically make the top 8. And I mentioned everyone Blues down on the standings can actually miss out, including the Blues, theoretically, depending on the results. Of course, for that to happen, it would mean that the Crusaders need 2 wins, the Brumbies need 2 wins, and the Reds need 3 wins to be able to do so. But because of the odds, or I guess because of the gaps between the two sides, technically, that can still happen. Whether it will, different story. And we've got to remember the Waratahs, who are now up to 26, they cannot catch the Blues because they can only get up to 36 points. So as long as the Reds or the Brumbies lose in the next couple of weeks, it means that no matter what, the top 4 are safe. But there is also that position of playoff, and that is the home field advantage. Blues and Crusaders, I believe, are the two jockeying for that. If the Blues get themselves the win here, they are guaranteed that home playoff. If they lose this game, Crusaders, if they can pull off 2 big wins over the Chiefs and the Hurricanes in Christchurch, that would then book them their home playoff game at the new stadium. We have got there watching from Palmy, where the two teams first played each other on March 1st, 1996. Blues and the Hurricanes played the first ever game of Super Rugby. Says Sammy. It's a little bit before my time, believe it or not. I would have been about 2 years not even thought of at that stage. Lucky for the Blues, Hurricanes will be too strong tonight, says JD, and Brumbies and Reds look safe. I don't know about the Reds, I'll be honest. They should win one of their games, the Reds. I think they will be up against the Fijian draw in Queensland, but I wouldn't guarantee they'll beat the Western Force. Definitely with the game taking place at HBF Park. And then I think for the Reds, they've also got another game. It might be up against Moana, though, as their other matchup, which they'd like to get the job done there, you would think. Who's going overseas with the Crusaders, Hamish? David Harvili, Braden Enor, Sever Reese, couple in the forwards too, I believe. Also making their way overseas. Mrs. just told me the dumplings are ready. What flavoured dumplings are they, Wade? Don't mind a dumpling. Well, the Blues supporters, in numbers here for this game. Same with the Canes. We are only sitting around 5 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Perfect timing, says Wade. And I won't change my mind. Canes heading to Park for the win, says Shane. Why David Harvey leaving us? Got an overseas contract. Decided that he would go for it. They are just showing all the players' names on the field with the lasers. That's quite cool. And we have got their Hart wants Canes, but taken in the ground and the long list of missing Canes players, my brain is reluctantly favouring the Blues. Be happy if the Canes get a bonus point, says Mark. Having teriyaki dumplings for dinner. But they are just showing the starting lineups for these two sides again. I just want to make sure there's no late changes. Looks like the same starting 15. Oh, no. There's a change. Taeli's gone to 12. Peter Aki no longer in the back line, ladies and gentlemen. So Taeli 12, AJ Lamb 13, Forbes out on the right wing. Groin injury for Peter Aki by the sounds of it. $1 million question. Who is going to make the All Blacks? That really is a tough question. Because I feel like any bolter that we've talked about throughout the last kind of 2 months has got injured in the process of being a bolter. So I was asked about it earlier on who I think is the most crucial player for the All Blacks. And I decided not to answer because I feel like if I say someone, they're going to get injured before July. But there's certainly a few guys putting their hand up in terms of potential All Blacks players. And it's going to be very intriguing to see what way they go. Segner could be an AB Smokey. He could be. Hopefully we don't jinx him by saying that he's got a good chance because I think he has become a bit of a, I don't want to say a front runner in that loose forward trio for the number 6 jersey, but he's certainly up there in terms of a potential option. When Caleb Clark make the ABs, or will Caleb Clark, I assume that is? Oh, I think so. I think that Clark, he gets a huge amount of stick, but he does a lot of things right, and he's quite safe under the high ball. And that's something that I think may slightly make the, well, Fihi's not bad under a high ball, but I do think that the Hurricanes will be hesitant to kick in the air to Clark. But someone who they will kick in the air to quite a bit will be Kenny Naholo. That man last week showed that even though he's had that injury for a long time, the high ball skills haven't come a long way. It's harsh to say, but I think that that's where maybe we'll see or now it's going to be Cole Forbes, who's normally pretty handy with a high ball. May mean that Bowden goes a little bit more kicking orientated. And that's not good news for some Blue supporters because they hate when Bowden does that. A ribbon love for the ABs. Will Finley Christie make the All Blacks? I think he'll miss out. I think that, like, at the moment, they've got, for me, 4 guys ahead of Christie, unless they're looking at experience. So, for me, there's Cam Roigard, Noah Hotham, Cortez Ratama, Adam Lennox. I think even would be a bolter ahead of Christie if they aren't taking experience into the equation, although now that Graham Henry's in there as a selector, maybe he does want a couple experienced heads across his side too. But Caleb Delaney, he will make his way out onto the field. And he has got his 50th Super Rugby cap now. And Clark is mean at test level. So here's Tama, and also we have there Canes 25 to the Blues 10. And there as well. We'll go like this. And like that. I'm just doing some more maths at the moment in terms of the top 8, or sorry, the top 6. The Waratahs, they are on 26. They've got the 2 games left. And by the looks of it, so the Fijian draw can still technically make it through. The Western Force also can. The only side that can't at the moment is Moana Pacifica. And we have got there, Clark and Patrick is about from Auckland this year, says Shane. Or Segner, I would throw in that equation as well. I think that he's had a very strong season. I think that, yeah, well, you got AJ Lamb's going overseas. Peter Fetta's going overseas. They might look at Tuanga Fasi just for, like I said, a bit of experience there in the propping department. But I think the group, maybe Numia, 2 others in there. I'm going to have to do a squad prediction at some stage. I just want to leave it as late as possible because of the fact that guys are going down left, right, and centre with injuries and overseas contracts. That option will sit with Renz. Says the underdog. Of course, we did see Dave Rennie in attendance for the game yesterday between the Highlanders and the Chiefs. I would think he'd be in attendance for this game too. This one just about to start up. between the Canes and the Blues, ladies and gents. If you haven't already, be sure to get those score predictions in. But the whistle has been blown. The Hurricanes going from left to right. We are underway for a New Zealand derby in Super Rugby Pacific, our second New Zealand derby of the round. It's a bit smoky out there at the moment. They obviously let off a lot of fireworks and whatnot. Looks like a foggy Auckland evening, but it's not really. I just got to wait for the smoke to clear. Sam Knock, wearing the bright orange boots from the 9, does decide to kick this one downfield from just outside of his 22. Nice take from Harkin under the high ball. Rush defence from Forbes, but flew straight past him. Segner trying to push him towards the sideline. Not cleaned out by Shields. Now Eritara Inari across to Pasilio Tossi. Where does he sit in terms of All Blacks rankings for tight end? That was close to a knock-on from Eritara Inari across to Peter Larkai. He's another man in the equation currently. You got this, Kane, says Candice. Oh, sorry, says Candice. I don't know why I said that so strangely. Also, if you do pronounce it as Candice, I really do apologise. Not everybody says Bruce. And just a reminder, he's already selected his team. Yeah, although like they say that, but then they have to change things. Of course, players go overseas. And then also alongside that, you got players getting injured. You have to swap in and out. So there'll be a rough, like I'd say, on paper, they'll have some sort of idea of who they want. It would be a bit late to not have any sort of notes for it. But, yeah, you got to adapt with the injury situation. Caleb Clark running this one at Billy Proctor. Sam Knock across the left-hand side. Charge down there from Brad Shields and close to the sideline. I think Bowden's been wrestled into touch by Fihifini Nofo, but it is going to be a line out here for the Blues. And Brad Shields still going. Yeah, tell you what, if you want someone who has a track record of being a bit of a hard man out there on the field and will give you 150%, Brad Shields, is he some sort of like late bolter for the ABs if there's a couple more injuries in the loose forward situation? I know he's probably already said he's hung up the boots for the All Blacks side of things, but he's not a bad choice based off current form. Now across to the right-hand side, but of course that's short term. You got to look at that future option too. How's the weather and the conditions on the field? It looks nice out there at Eden Park. I think they'll be sitting around maybe 10 degrees, maybe a little bit hotter. Well, a little bit less cold than that. Ruben Love going up for the ball, but it's taken by Segner. Looking for a risky offload. He's just thrown that ball straight into touch. Will now be the Hurricanes line-out. Brad Shields international level, says Shane, been around for a long time. He certainly has. Been at sides in England. He's been all around the world, Brad Shields. He was with the Wasps before they ended up going under, wasn't he? I feel like that was the best thing that happened for the Canes because they got him back, and since then he's been quite a figure in that loose forward trio. And Tossi for the first try, says the real Ando. And also selected, says our underdog pick. Is Shields eligible for the ABs? I think he is. Because he's playing in New Zealand. He hasn't played for any other international side in terms of the recent, I think it's 3 years that the New Zealand base it off. So I don't see why not. He's not going overseas that we know of yet. So I think he would be, to be fair to him. How old is Brad Shields? He's got to be 34, 35, doesn't he? That scrum has gone down, so we will have another reset. Yeah, 35 years old. So he's up there in terms of the age department. So he's only a short-term fix for a young injury, I would say, is the only way they find a way into the squad for him. Will Rennie and co-select a new young captain? Example, Cam Roygaard, Satiti Tupavai, or will the captain be Artie? It's a good question. I think it's going to be revealed relatively soon. But I think Savi is probably the guy Rennie will look at least for the near future. Canes have a 4 kg weight advantage in the packs, 928 compared to the 924 of the Blues. Eritara Inari. He is a man who's been around a few Super Rugby clubs throughout his time. Let's get the start ahead of anyone else. Geordie Filiuan off the bench here. Royard's still injured, so that is why he is out. Kenina Holo, drop ball down the wing. Picked up by Sullivan. Offload on the inside to Taeli. Mistake made from Kenina Holo with ball in hand has led to the counter-attacking chance now for the Blues. Caleb Clark almost breaking through, but brilliant low tackle made by Xavier Numia. That was playing the ball off his feet there for Basilio Tossi. Big long blow of the whistle from Ben O'Keefe. Hands of the ruck goes against Tossi there. We have you there. The Canes don't stand a chance. Blues by 20. We can all do with the Blues. So here's Ruby. And who's Australia playing in the autumn, says Kyle. 1 second. We'll get it up. So Australia, I believe they're on the same side of the draw as New Zealand in terms of who they play for the November and July internationals, which does make it relatively easy. In that case, they would be playing France, Italy, and Ireland, but I'll just have a quick look. Australia play Ireland the first week, France the second, and then Italy the third. And Drive says the underdog and chicken tender salad and garlic bread. That sounds like a good old combo, to be fair. Do like myself a good old garlic bread. And chance for love to outshine Bodie, says Eugene. Bradley Slater. Throw this one in. They've just said over half their tries from set piece have started from their line out. Now Segner pops it back to Sam Knock. He will go off the back, lined up by a Suffolk more, but the pass on to Rampling. Now moving on, Taheli, tackled by his opposite number, Barrett. Using this one quickly here. Nice run from Derry to get only a couple metres out. There's a penalty, though, going the way of the Hurricanes for obstruction. Hoskins a 2-2. Didn't want to give up the ball, and Brad Shields gets right in his face. Those two wrestling each other to the turf. Got to keep a close eye on these situations because someone might throw a little cheeky uppercut. They're trying to separate about 10 players now on the field. Right, Hoskins a 2-2 and Brad Shields are about to get into a little bit of trouble here. Brad Shields, he did not take kindly to Hoskins not giving the ball back. Referee's blowing his whistle 50 times. I think this is going to be the warning for the two players. There's still a bit of handbags going on out on the wing between Fihi Norfo and Cole Forbes, I believe it was. Here we go, says Tama. You didn't take long, did it? 6 minutes into this game and they're already feeling it. Caleb Clark, bit of a limp here for the Blues too. Right, Geordie's getting called over. Captain of the Hurricanes, Patrick Tuipulotu, getting called over. Okay. He just said there Hoskins and Brad did not need to get involved in that. And he said that that one was their freebie. Any more, someone's going to the bin. And who wants some, says Johnny Blaze. So yeah, this one, they've been given the official warning. And now they have to make sure that they don't break the rules again. And GCAB's wingers getting injured. Left right, says Demon the 11th, which is another reason why I'm hesitant to do an All Black score prediction yet. Because even in the playoff games, there'll be a few injuries. Sadly, it is the reality of these games. You see 2 or 3 guys going down each week. Fee should stay, says Demon the 11th. Well, it was talked about for the last couple of weeks about Fihi staying. I just think New Zealand should change their eligibility heading into the World Cup. Just say the next year and a half we're doing a trial run to see whether or not selecting overseas players works. That way you get Retallick back, you get Fihi Norfo, you get access to the guys currently playing in Europe, in Japan, and then after the World Cup they can go, you know what, that did or didn't work, and we can go back to either what it was, which is still very behind in terms of current rugby situation for international sides, or they go to what it should be, which is everyone's eligible, because they just can't compete with overseas contract numbers. Now, Eritara Inari going to be rolling this one back now. Sitting about 40 metres out from their own line here. The Canes will kick this one downfield. Waiting for this one to come down is Caleb Clark. It looks like that ankle has recovered. He's had a few issues with it throughout the last 12 to 18 months. Exactly right on the money. Says Tanner too. But yeah, it's a difficult one because it's something that's, it's a good charge down from Warner. Dearns a Bowden Barrett's kick, and Dearns scores the try. The big man represents Japan at international level. And he is just charged at Bowden Barrett there, who went for the kick downfield. And Dearns scores his 3rd try of the season. Rugby has to be everywhere. Then we all win. We have there, Leicester could be on the wing at this rate, says Demon the 11th. Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 positions that Leicester could find himself in that All Blacks environment, but we're going to see it here. Sam Knock. So just a little bit too telegraphed there. They took too long to get it back to Barrett, and then from there, he looked towards a cross kick rather than a kick downfield, and Warner Dearns was all over him. Managed to charge it down, and the Canes get the early strike at Eden Park. Hey, mate, says Clifford there. But Xavier on the wing says them in the 11th. Should have passed the Tossie. Says Real Ando. And because this actually has done quite a bit of hit for our winger depth, even if those two guys, Fihi and Tangitel, haven't even played test level yet. But typically our wingers seem to perform. Yeah, well, it just opens up the door for a bit more opportunity. You know, you look at a few of the guys overseas who would be eligible. And I mentioned Brodie Riddell. He's probably the perfect example of someone that, you know, Rennie's trying very hard to be able to bring him back, but it doesn't seem like he's winning that argument. Moonga, you know, there's been a lot of talk recently, even though it was already confirmed when he first signed, but there's been more talk now about how he's going to be missing some of the rugby coming up. Now, of course, as an overseas player, you make your bed when you go into an overseas comp and you have to stick by it. But yeah, it's an intriguing one, and I just think they're going to be too reluctant to change anything. I think they'll stick with what they've got. They'll go, oh, well, if we struggle at international level, it's not our fault. You know, Ruben Love thought about the wide cut-out pass. Kick did go over from the Hurricanes as well, so they are sitting 7-0 up after the pass out to Fehefini Norfolk. Bit of space to work with. He breaks through one. He's got the grubber on the inside rather than the pass, and it sets up for Eddie Tata Enery. Offload up to Geordie Barrett. The Hurricanes are 2 from 2 in 2 minutes. And that has completely changed this game. One moment and a great win or great run down the wing from Fehefini Norfolk. Newcastle, they'll be happy and happy every single second with their signing. But Barrett scores. I was going to be a slightly annoyance there, and I was going to say you could argue Barrett scored twice, but that's harsh on Bowden there. Did have to make that last-ditch tackle there too. And damn bang bang, says the AO underdog. And try, Hurricanes are too good. Blues cheeks, says Johnny. And take a look at it this way. Say a Tangitel gets injured. They have another young and up-and-coming talent like Fehi, who could form a dual threat with Caleb Clark. Says Tanner 2. Now 12-0 early on at Eden Park. This is a dream start again. This is similar to what we saw between the Waratahs and the Fijian Drua now, in terms of the way that match started up. But it's all been one moment. Just that little half hesitancy. If Brad Shields gets in more kerfuffles, other than we blowing the whistle, like he's DJing at a sheepdog trial. And Lovers Damon just needs to remain ground in the hot seat. Just like that, says Eugene. Yeah, it's quick. That one only happened a couple minutes after their last try. But they sit now 14-0 up after another good kick from Ruben Love. I'm Blues by 20 in my dreams, says Ruby. Just going to do a little bit more maths. And like that. Oh, another penalty. This time it's going to be the Hurricanes who have received the penalty for Malachi Rappling being offside. Just creeping half a foot, says Ben O'Keefe, in terms of getting himself in front. But now it gives the opportunity for the Canes to kick it downfield yet again here. And Hamish, if the ABs get injury, this should be the back line. 9, Cody Taylor. Okay. Straight away, confused me big time. Savia, which Savia are you talking to? Are you talking to Artie or Julian back out on the wing? Geordie Barrett 15, I think, is the best choice you've made of that whole back line. AJ Lamb 13 would be good, but he's going overseas, sadly. Nice take there from Warner Durns in the line out. Eritara Eneri across to Kinina Holo to Proctor now. I'm in grade 12, right? I'm getting some of my exam marks back. Can I share? Go for it, Tyler. Hopefully you did well in the old exams. A little bit of a counter ruck there from Patrick Tuipalotu. Mark is not having it. I can imagine he wouldn't be. Has he got Tony with him, or is Tony still out sick? At the stage, Kinina Holo, that's a forward pass out wide. That should have been called, really. Straight in front of the touch judge. Forward by about 1.5 meters. But they're still going to continue attacking here, the Canes. They do score in this next play. They would have to check this one, I would think. Their ball's going to be... Oh, no, they've called that one as a forward pass. That one was back further than the last one. But it's going to be the scrum feed for the Blues. A 14-0 after 10 minutes. If the Canes keep this up, they'll win 112-0. And while it's Satiji for the captain, I know Tony is not there, says Jasmine, and Dane Coles will be interesting on the wing. And our bro Mark Are you all good there, brother? Says Johnny. You know, this game's far from over. We've seen sides get a good lead early on and then end up with it slipping away. The Blues, they just need that next try. If the Hurricanes score again, they'll be heading in a very good direction. But I mentioned the Blues need at least one bonus point from this game to feel a little bit safer ahead of the Crusaders. Imagine if Roigard was on the field, says Tama. Well, I feel like they're going all right without him for now. So, like, you know, they'd probably be on the same score after the 14 minutes. But now Sam Knock going off to the right-hand side. And also, Eri Tarahenre's actually done very well throughout the first 14 minutes. So we can't discredit him too much for a guy who's out injured. Now, this one's going to be kicked in behind from Cole Forbes. That one's skidding on towards the in-goal area. Barrett takes it just out from his line. Offload to Fihi. Finianofo quick off the mark and gets through a couple, but Segner takes him down. The game was never going to be competitive, was it, says Big Rig? Not necessarily. I think we've got a competitive game still on the cards. The Blues just need to be the next team to strike. They made a mistake of the charge down kick that's turned into a try for Warner Durns. And from there, they haven't really had a lot of the ball, and they keep on making mistakes like that. Another obstruction penalty. That is twice now that they've been pinged for that. Eritana will be the future, leaving off Roigard, or learning off Roigard. Although Eritana Henry's like 32, isn't he? How old is he? Eritana Henry. How old? Oh, I missed his name. There we go. Eritana Henry. He's 28 years old. So a little bit older. We have there Russi, big players from all over England, France, Japan, South Africa. Bro has the selection policies on lock, and Boda Barrett says dunk. I don't think Russi actually picks guys from other countries unless they are the veterans, like Malcolm Marks and all that, right? Well, he had a few of the younger guys from overseas. Normally, it takes them a little bit longer to build up a reputation, though. And then once they get to kind of around that 25 while playing overseas, they seem to then end up in the running. The Dupreas are probably a good example of that, although they were a little bit later than 25 as well, I think. Now, backline movement. Now, Proctor. There's a player all over him by the name of Anton Segner. I mean, Maffo got 98%, English got 86, and 82 for the other, and CAT I got the 94. That sounds like a lot of passes for yourself, Tyler, so hopefully you did pass all of them. Oh, Tui Pelotu's hurt his shoulder. That's not a good sign here. He is holding it down, hopefully just a stinger for him. Already seen enough All Blacks contenders going down this weekend with injuries. Now going to the left-hand side. Looking for the steal and the break down the Blues. Callum Harkin, short ball to Brad Shields. Jack says everyone is a Gaines fan and the Blues have no chance of a bonus point. And also we have there's Graham Henry at the ground. Maybe. I assume Dave Rennie would be. He was at the Chiefs versus Highlanders game. Run from Proctor, another advantage. Another time that the Canes can just use this to their advantage here. Try and look for one big play. If you make Super or NRL, you're the man, says Strap God. Cross kick. Cole Forbes takes it. They'll go back now for the initial penalty. But the mere fact that they have free access to JJ van der Merch, I can definitely see him as a bomb squad weapon for them, says Tanner too. Ready to kick this one towards the sideline here. More than likely, I think, for the Hurricanes. Oh, Geordie's gone negative. They've gone for the 3 points here, the Hurricanes. I don't like this. I feel like they had the pedal down. They were putting on the pressure on the Blues, who have been ill-disciplined throughout the early stages of this one. So because of that, I would have gone corner and put the pressure on them even more so. Continue trying to get it well and truly in their favour. It looks like Asafo Moore's got a bit of a jersey change here. Luckily, no injury in that regard. And we have got the Enery as guard and Bishop level. Nothing more, not impressed. Sarah Shane, well, I think he has some good moments. Eri Tata Enery. The type of guy that you don't mind having as your second or third halfback who can come on and do some really good things. We have the Hamish. I hope France will send their strongest team for the Nations Cups. It doesn't seem like it. I think they'll have a few weaker players. Well, not really weaker, just inexperienced players. And there that kick is missed from Ruben Love, which backs up the fact that they should have gone for the corner. We have you there, bro. Enery's number one fanboy, says Johnny. And Canes 94 to the 33 and wasted opportunity, says Dunk. Absolutely. And that is the type of one that may end up kicking them, or not kicking them in the head, backfiring was what I was looking for. Hopefully we don't see too many more players kicked in the head. We've already seen that this weekend with McKenzie. Going to be out for a couple of weeks. More than likely, nice take from Zahn Sullivan. Geordie Barrett round the bootlaces with Peter Larkai in the breakdown. That was perfect from the Hurricanes. I don't think they could have won that ball any more cleanly than they just did. The combination of Larkai and Barrett working like a charm there. And it's given the Hurricanes the possession back 30 metres out from the opposition line. Asafua Moore breaks through one, looks for the offload, picked up by Fihifini Norfolk just next to the sideline, trying to get Derry off his back. But Segner getting in the breakdown and wins the penalty for the Blues. Nicely done by the number 7. How reliable is Love as a goal kicker generally? Pretty handy. Like that was a poor miss from Ruben Love by his standards. Normally he'd like to slot those ones over in his sleep. They were only probably 30 metres straight out in front. And put him in, says the underdog. And also I'm surprised. I thought it would be a Canes, or would be the Canes being loose with discipline, says Mark. Always many in the chat. Is Hurricanes points for? It's the style, my bro. Says AH. Now 20 minutes gone already in this contest. I love the name Bowden Barrett. Says JD. On out here for Bradley Slate. Oh, what's happened there? I think his arms, he may have lost all the blood in them because he put his arms down as if he had given up on throwing the ball. It's going to be in the hands of Taili. No, in fact, Asafua Moore has managed to rip it off him. So this is going to be no advantage for the fake from Bradley Slater. That was really strange. He got ready to throw it, he had his hands above his head, and then just as they were about to throw it, he went and then went back up to then throw it. So I don't know if that was a miscommunication or literally the blood rushed out of the arms and he went, oh, I might as well get a spell since we're not quite ready. But offload on the inside from Shields to Larkai. We have got there, have you seen that Tank Ethan in the mix? Well, he's injured at the moment, so he's not quite in the mix yet. He's got to avoid any sort of injuries throughout the next competition too. Now backline movement, Ruben Love, bounce pass there to Asafua Moore, runs straight at AJ Lamb, about 15 post-contact meters for Moore. Now Eritara Enri, get into the breakdown quickly and sending it to the right for Hifini Norfo. Now plays half, goes to Moore on the inside. Oh, Tui Pilotu, he's still feeling the pain in his right shoulder here, ladies and gents. He actually got bumped off there relatively easily. I don't think he's going to last the 80 minutes at the moment. Patrick Tui Pilotu, big knock on there from the Hurricanes. So they'll go back for the scrum in favour of the Blues. And we have there Cardiff were great against the Bulls, and now is Tom Bowen not in the Wales team. He might get a chance later on in the year, but yeah, he had a phenomenal game for the Cardiff Blues, I should say, not the Cardiff. That sounds like they're not quite the team that we were after, but Asafua Moore, this is a good hard run from that man. A lot of carry meters for the Canes throughout the early stages of this one. I mean, this almost says them in the 11th. 22 minutes in, 14-0. We have already seen the Hurricanes get themselves one victory in this contest. 68% possession early on. Hey, pure breed rugby, Hamish. I love you for that. Says Ruby. Now going off to the right-hand side. Oh, Sam Knock has a little bit of a slip there, but he has still got a decent old boot on it, and that ball's skidding around Callum Harkin, who does decide against going quickly. It's a good kick from Sam Knock, definitely because he took the kick while he was half by sliding over. And we have got there, did you make first 15s? Oh, I assume that was to Johnny. Johnny, I think, if I'm not wrong, he actually went overseas for a New Zealand side. Could be wrong, but I think I remember it being mentioned a few years ago that he got to go to maybe Fiji or something to play in a competition for a New Zealand side. Could be wrong. I played with Sever Reese at Hawke's Bay High School first 15, but I was trash, to be honest, here's Johnny Blaze, and that is going to be the knock-on from the Blues. So he can be tackled, I've said. Amish, who is his random here, says Jaden. And we have got there, you don't even miss a boundary, dude. Are you more like the TMO of TMOs? And we have got there as well, do you like Nutella? I haven't had Nutella in a probably 10-year period. Just seeing the chase there. I was just knocked on from Zahn Sullivan initially. I went to Fiji for the schoolboys comp for Hamilton Boys High School. Like I said, I was trash, says Johnny Blaze. And come on the Canes, says John. Canes definitely the team to beat in 2026, says Bunnies. Yeah, this win, if they got one more try here, or even without the try here, they would get themselves 4 points ahead of the Chiefs. Hamish, this is not me, by the way. I know that that's not you, Jaden. Don't panic. Right, Ben O'Keefe just saying for the players to stop talking to him and just get on with the scrummaging. Try not to spam too much, Trap God. I think most people have moved on from it at this point in time. But it's going to be the scrum feed now. I don't think Eddie Tarieneri's actually been mentioned in the last 5 minutes or so, believe it or not. But I'm going to mention him. Eddie Tarieneri, ball in hand, ready to put the scrum in for the Hurricanes. The Blues by 20, and if you don't agree with me, then bet the other way. Do you know Siaya? If you do, what are your thoughts on him? Looks like a talented player. Been playing starting 15 for the Sharks recently, hasn't he? But still eligible for the under-20s. Big carry from Geordie Barrett. He went for the offload. Looked like a bit of a miscommunication there from the Canes. Barrett had a man on his left shoulder, but threw it directly behind him. They have managed to still keep this ball. Billy Proctor tries the offload. That was forward to Kinina. Maybe it's just the camera angle, because that's about the third time that we've seen one that's looked forward around 40 metres out. Larkai going off to Flanders, starting 8, heading to Japan. Now, big bump off from Warner Derns of Sam Knock. Tui Piloto's arm is struggling here. He's tried to make another tackle and he's been brushed off pretty easily. And that's something we're not used to seeing for Big Patty. So, he doesn't look good here. He's going to keep on playing, but I think there's a real question mark around his current status in terms of injuriness. That's not a word, but we'll go with it. Trying to make that. No, he can't tackle with one of his arms. I think that either it's his shoulder or it's the forearm or something. He can't tackle at this point in time. Maybe you should eat chocolate in your live stream. I don't think we've ever eaten chocolate on a live stream. I've had volcanoes on a live stream before. That was in the old school days, and had some Pringles too. Hey, yo, don't matter who you are. Can you perform when the heat goes on, says Shane. One's going to be booted into touch. We're going to see it there. Segner getting the turnover penalty injury. Says Dunk. This one's going to be a line-out throw on the halfway line. I'm surprised Tui Pilotu's still out there. Now, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just think he's been struggling in the last kind of 15 minutes. And it was from that first initial stinger that he took on the shoulder that, it's not straight. Oh no, closing the gap against the Hurricanes there. So it will be the free kick going the way of the Blues. Bowden Barrett decides to take this one quickly. Going away to the left-hand side. Malachi Rappling breaking the line. Gets through the tackle attempt on the outside. Gets through Harkin as well. About 15 metres from the line now for the Blues. Sam Knott goes across the Bowden Barrett. He decides the cross kick is the best option. Kinina has not controlled that ball. And Segner almost scored it. Naholo looked confused. They might check this. What are edible volcanoes? They're like a little lolly thing that's in the shape of a triangle. They're quite nice. Hurricanes 5 tries. Petty is out for some time. Maybe he's low on locks. Is Holland still out? Or if Holland's still out. But yeah, he hasn't had any medics come over to him, which I'm surprised about. But it's as if he's trying to just see if it comes right. Tell you what, Segner wasn't a mile away from getting that one down just into touch beforehand. I pray for the Blues to score. Thank me later. I think you should eat hot wings and keep a straight face. I've been on the Hot Wings podcast. I suck with spice. I find sweet chili sauce spicy. So anything more than a sweet chili sauce, I would not be doing well. Now going off to the left-hand side. Sam Knock to Sam Derry. Kicked him behind by Zahn Sullivan. Awkward bouncing ball. It's going towards a 50-22, but Ruben Love is back. Kicks it off the outside of his boot. Does put it into touch. What's your thoughts on the rolling clock? Shouldn't it stop when they're checking plays or anything but the official stop play? Sometimes they do stop it. And normally if the referee's doing like a TMO decision, they'll go blow the whistle, time off. But sometimes, they'll have 40 seconds or so of a guy lining up a kick at the post, then blow the whistle, say we're disallowing that, and they don't actually take that back in terms of the time that they wasted, which I think is something that they should really look at. But because of the conversion clock using up normal time, it means that, it does normally have a little bit of downtime in there, no matter what happens in terms of the TMO and whatnot. Now, Anton Segner, the short ball. If you pilot's right, consider left is the opposite, says JD. Now going off to the left-hand side, Anton Segner. Now moving to the left-hand side, Patrick Tuipulotu moves it on to Bowden Barrett. Sullivan off to Forbes. They've got Taeli out wide, and he just gets driven into touch. Brilliant tackle by Ruben Love, who actually forced Taeli into touch. Referee missed it, and it is going to be a line out here for the Blues. Should be one for the Canes, though. We're going to see the replay now. Taeli. It was a great low tackle from Love. Ball went, he's out there. So it should be the Hurricanes throw rather than for the Blues. And the referee has just corrected himself. We have you there. Come on, you won't need a boundary. If it bowled a bad ball, don't be shy. We have you there. How many more weeks until the French test, says Tanner? I think we're only sitting about 5 or a little bit longer than that, in fact. 48 days away, so 7 weeks' time. However, their brains are hijacked by their own devices. Now, this one's going to be kicked high by Eritara Inari. And that ball goes into touch. Good tackle, says NZ Riot. And consider attending my lifestyle. Ready for another line out. Are you guys going to go back and forth all day like your children, or are you going to grow up a little bit? You've been going for 15 minutes. By now, I'm sure someone is sick of you, or at least one person is sick of you, so you could just drop it maybe. It's not a bad idea. Now, it's at about 9 minutes remaining in this first half. Eritara Inari going to be rolling this ball back. And this one's going to go high from Eritara Inari down towards Geordie Barrett and Fihi Finianova. But great take from Caleb Clark under the high ball. Now this one's going to be kicked in behind from Bowden Barrett, looking for the 50-22. And Ruben Love all the time in the world to be able to kick this one into touch. From inside of his own 22-metre line, Zahn Sullivan unable to take it cleanly. As I wonder if that's enough time for Josh Lord and Holland will recover from injury. Well, I think Josh Lord's a shorter time frame than Holland, isn't he? Holland was guaranteed out for the season. Realistically, we could win all 3. Says Wafer. Damn, that's a turn out for a bang-bang scoreline. He's going to slow down a little bit in terms of points, hasn't it? Did you watch Strickland versus Hamza fight? Are you going to watch the Diaz Perry fight today? I don't think I'll get a chance to watch that one live. I did get to watch Hamza and Strickland. I actually bought that pay-per-view in the end because of some of the undercard fights that were in there. Now back across, Sam Knock. Moving it away to the right-hand side for this Blues team who do need to find a way of getting back into this contest, and whether that comes in the form of a try, although they've just had the ball ripped off them from Xavier Numia. Get a haircut, says Bobby. What would you recommend, Bobby? Are you a barber? Can you do it for free? That's going to be kicked in behind by a sophomore, or at least attempted to do so, but I'm going to go back now for the penalty. We need Holland, big massive frame. Most of our locks are small, especially considering the size of the big beefy South African locks. How many points do you think the Blues will end with for the season? So they're on 32 at the moment. I think 37 or so is realistic. 1 out of the 2 games between the Chiefs or the Hurricanes, I think they should get the win. And if they don't, then you're kind of at the mercy of potentially going down to 4 in the overall rankings. We're still on a fantastic work considering I love his work, says JD. Let's go. How's the night going? Says NZ Unique. Now line out throw here. Can give you a baldy. Well, we went that last year. We got a buzz cut for the channel. So if you can do that again, we'll go for it. Although next time I think we're going to go a little bit more eventful, like maybe a mohawk or something. If we're going to get people complaining about a haircut, we want to make it that they can complain for good reason, because it's going to be like brutal, you know? Maybe leave the front, take everything else off, and just leave me with a spike. Like I'm a bloody unicorn. But now, Eritare Enere popping the ball up. Tuipulotu still can't tackle. I don't know why that man's still out there on the field. He can't feel one of his arms. It's the 4th time in a row that we've counted that he hasn't been able to wrap his arm around and make a completed tackle. And I have no idea how the Blues medics have not noticed it. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the Blues, and they will be March 10. But I have no idea why Tuipulotu is still out there on the field at this point in time. And all he's doing is potentially being out for the season if he keeps on going and eventually does do more damage. We're going to go mid-skid fade with a textured fringe. Says Tyler. I know I'm listening to it now. Says Gandis. Now back across to the left-hand side to Wallace Satiti. Oh, sorry, not Wallace. To Hoskins Satutu. Leave the sides. Off the top. I actually got that haircut at primary school for bad hair day. And my parents got called because they thought that I was like getting it put on me like out of spite or something, rather than because I actually wanted that haircut for bad hair day, because I was going to trim the sides anyway the next day. But yeah, they thought that maybe I was having a bit of a rough childhood and that something was going wrong at home, that I was being forced to have haircuts like that. But I just took bad hair day seriously. One year I actually had biscuits hanging out of my hair. That was fun. Primary school was busy. Trivia, May is the 156th anniversary of the first official game played in New Zealand. Well, there you go. About 35 minutes through the contest here. Get the John Olomu cut. I think it looks better on him than it would on me, though. Now, we're just showing Fitzpatrick, Zinzan Brook, and Carlos Spencer all getting the awards from not too long ago. Our screen goes downhill when you agree with fellas in the chat. Ignore them. Says Wade. Yeah, there's been a fair few of them recently, isn't there? Seems to be that time of year. That one's going to be both front rows standing up, so we will have another scrum reset here. To be fair, this game has stopped having any sort of points coming in. We had those 2 quick fire tries from the Hurricanes. Now it's been quite a seesaw in recent times. Currently, we have still got 4 minutes remaining in the first half. But the Blues, if they can score before halftime, they're still well and truly in this. And how are you? I'm thinking Hurricanes 35, Blues 20. It could happen somewhere around that scoreline. Definitely if the Canes come out firing in the second half or can score for the end of the first. Eritare Enere with another scrum feed here, 45 metres out from their own line here, the Canes. We have there the infamous John hairstyle. Who's here? Was more funny though. Here's Elton Yankees. Yankees had a good old trim, didn't he? Now going across to the right-hand side. Now, Finianoff, I should say. Speaking on momentum, it's really been 50-50. The big thing that's kept the Blues in this game is Anton Segner. He's had about 2 or 3 turnovers, but in terms of general attack, it's been the Canes. Going off to the left-hand side now, Billy Proctor. This is a big open space, the biggest line break that we've seen in a long time. Kiniholo running down the wing, 3 metres short. Harkin joins the breakdown, but he's cleaned out of there. The ball, he's played that from the ground. Should have been a penalty to the Blues in that scenario, although the Blues might be able to get themselves the turnover in the breakdown anyway. No, they don't. Eritare Enere goes across to Kiniholo, 7 metres out from the line. Now, Eritare Enere again. Tuipulotu slow back to his feet. He's struggling big time. It might not just be arm injury either. It might be something in the midsection too. He's going to try and make the tackle. No, he didn't really want to. On Xavier Numia there, half by pulling out of it. It is slightly costing him. He's going to try and stop him. He can't. Gets run over the top of Tuipulotu, and Pasilio Tossi scores another try. I'm almost shocked that no one from the Blues medical team has spotted this. It's been going on for 30 minutes. Tuipulotu is injured here, ladies and gentlemen, and he is being forced to play the whole of the first half. Obviously, they want to make more effect of that 6-2 split later on. And if that's the reason, then that's pretty rough on Big Paddy Tuipulotu. But he can't tackle. His arm's not working. So trying to tackle with one arm when you've got boys running at you who are 130 kgs, there's just no chance. He's not committed. It's the right arm of Tuipulotu too. And the medics have finally made their way onto the field. I think that's just to run the drinks though. And unless halftime helps, Tuipulotu should come off for his own sake. Yeah, I don't see a way that he starts the second half. Can't Petty just signal to the bench to replace him? Well, yeah, it's either that he's trying to be too tough for his own good or the side want to save it late for the change. Because, yeah, I don't understand why he's still out there when he's playing with one arm. Tuipulotu AC joint. See, the real Ando. And Tuipulotu's right arm noodled. Yeah, well, every time he tries to wrap, his arm just falls down. Right. It looks like they're taking off Tuanga Fussy. Tuipulotu, he's slouched over too. It's plain as day that he is not 100%. Even when he's running around, he's looking like he's at about 20%. But, yeah, Mason Tupai comes on for an HIA that they've found. Segner isn't on the team list you posted. So here's Wafer. Oh, no, Papali snuck in. Nah, it's Segner, though, as the number 7. There's always one that ends up going wrong in terms of the lineup. So I feel like it's a part of the channel so that we show that we're not actually professional at anything that we do in life. That sounded deep. Now, Hoskins, the dude goes across to Caleb Clark trying to break the line, but currently 21-0 down for this Blues side. Now moving it on again. Sam Derry, good work in the breakdown from Larkai to almost get the steal. So Tutu tries the pass, but it is going to be loose. Picked up from the Blues at halfway. Cole Forbes cleans it up. Counter ruck here from the Canes, but Naolo winning off his feet. It becomes captain of Tuipulotu, doesn't come back for the second half. I'd say probably Bowden Barrett. Or potentially Sam Derry. Sam Derry actually might be ahead of Bowden. And who was running this thing? They talk about player safety. Well, then what is this? Says Tanner 2. That one's going to be put into touch by the Blues. They're accepting 21-0 down at the halftime break. It's a solid first half from the away side, though. But again, I have no idea what's happening in terms of management for the Blues as to why Tuipulotu is not off the field. It just doesn't make sense to me because it's actually hurting them more than it's helping them. Because the line-out's starting to show a little bit of roughness. And that is, I think, purely because Tuipulotu can't even lift his arm to slap it back onto his side of the line-out. And, yeah, I don't know what's happening. 2 Cent's going to have a headache. Listen to that guy, says Johnny. We have got there, where's Ruth? Ruth was here earlier. I think she'll be here later on tonight as well. The negligence and leaving Petty on is almost criminal. Well, it's obviously Tuipulotu. The only thing I can think is he said, I'm okay to keep on going. But it makes no sense to me that, surely someone's watching him. You know, they have all the statistics. They have all of the analytics. They'll look at it and go, Patrick Tuipulotu's missed 7 tackles in a row here. Maybe something's up with him. He's walking around like this, all bloody hunched over, looking like he's in extreme pain. He can't run properly. He can only jog because of the discomfort that he's feeling. But because his mouthguard says he's all good, we keep him out there. We hope for the best. We have got there a calm down Tui. Told the coach to F himself. When told to come off. Says Sock. Well, that's also a little bit of negligence from Tuipulotu. Because he's got to realise this isn't the only game remaining of the season. And if he's the only thing I can think is if he thinks it's serious enough that he's not going to get to come back for the rest of the season, decided, well, I might as well, I can't rip it anymore. It might be a torn pec or something torn pec would be a shout because he's hunched over. His arm's not working. It might actually be pectoral. But no, he was holding up there earlier on, so maybe it's a bit of both. I could be wrong here. I thought you were going out for tea. I misheard you, or did I? If I did, I apologise. Tomorrow night we got the going out for tea. Our time zones are always very confusing. So Sunday night for us here in New Zealand is when we are going out for dinner. And then also going to be playing some golf tomorrow, more than likely, which is thoroughly exciting, other than the fact that I have been in some terrible form on the golf course. But that's all right. It's good to be out there and lose a few balls. Halftime in this contest, so 21 points to 0 few times we have seen the ball lost. The commentators mentioning Tuipulotu's apparent injury. I haven't heard them mention it once. Now, of course, I can't hear them that well, but yeah, I haven't heard anything said. But surely I'm not the only one who spotted it, right? That someone, for the coaches of the Blues or the medics or, one of his teammates maybe has seen and gone, oh, Patrick's doing a bit rough here. How's the Blues going to score after watching poor play in the first half? They've got to definitely get their handling on point. And probably a little bit more protection in the breakdown too. Larkai's been lethal when it comes to looking for those steals. Segner's been doing nicely in terms of the back and forth. But they haven't turned possession into much in terms of this stage of the match. The Blues, let's go the Hurricanes, says Dara. What, you doing golf tomorrow? Yeah, that's the plan anyway. I just want to see some stats about these guys. Do we have a Tuipulotu tackle count? Yeah, tackles attempted 6, missed tackles 4 for Patrick Tuipulotu. So that's unheard of for a man who's normally a pretty handy tackling machine. Warner Durns, for instance, well, he's probably not the best example because he sometimes slips off a few. We've seen Delaney, 5 attempted, 5 made. Sam Derry, he's made 8 tackles, 1 missed. Tuipulotu missing over 60% of his tackles in this game. He's almost missed, he's missed 75% of his tackles. Should shave a Chopper Reed style mustache. I think that the key is to not draw attention to yourself, though. And I feel like a big Chopper Reed stash without the tattoos as a pale boy like myself just wouldn't look good. 7 missed tackles from Tuipulotu was unheard of. He has to be injured, says Adrian. I love a game of golf on a Sunday, Arvo. Well, the Canes break their Eden Park hoodoo. At the moment, it seems like the Canes are the popular choice in that department. I am absolutely shocking at golf. I hate it because I'm trash, says Johnny. Yeah, it's quite difficult, golf. Definitely when at some stage, you hit a couple good shots and all of a sudden you think, yeah, golf's easy. And then as soon as you think that to yourself, that's when you hit a massive shank and put it in the middle of the pond and go, oh, well, I guess that's golf. What we'll do is we'll go like this and like that. Warner Durns scoring the early try in this contest. Can you mention how the AB's hopefuls are playing tonight? So, of the Warner or the AB's hopefuls, we've got to decide who falls into that category. Larkai's been solid. Segner's been solid. Tossi's been good. Numia looked solid in the early stages. Amore's been solid. I would say, who else? Ruben Love, he's done all right from the 10 jersey. Barrett's had a decent game. People hate when you say that, but that is Geordie. For the Blues, Darry's been good. Although line-out's been a bit shaky, but I don't think that's completely down to him. Segner's been good, like I said. Clark's had a couple handy runs and been solid under the high ball. It's probably a majority of the All Blacks guys in there. There's probably a few others, though, to be fair. Super Rugby lost South African viewership after they kicked us out. Was it a financial reason or a Rugby World Cup 2019 emotional one? Well, it seems like it's worked out for the better for both competitions. And I know that that's one of those ones that people love to argue till the cows come home. But South Africa are happy with the URC. Super Rugby Pacific, viewership-wise, they're happy with what it's doing. They had a record season last year in terms of Super Rugby viewers on Sky and everything along those lines. So the way that I look at it is if both competitions are doing all right, why is it that so many people love to needlessly argue about the two competitions? Like rugby, I mentioned about it on the last live stream. Rugby's one of those things, you can love a competition, you can hate a competition, but everyone's got their own, I guess, opinions on those comps. And that's what makes rugby so great. Some people hate the French Top 14. Other people would only watch French Top 14 rugby in terms of their selection. Some people love Super. Some people love URC. Like, it's part of the fun. Do you think the Blues ever feel bad after losing all the time? Not really. They're sitting all right on the table. They're sitting third at this point in time. We have got there Tuipulotu could still be in the All Blacks contention. Should be taking care of his options. Exactly. Like, him being out there on the field, I know that this sounds harsh, right? But him being out there on the field doesn't change the fact that they're down by 21. If anything, he has been involved, I believe, in one of the tackles that could have been stopped if someone with 2 capable arms was out there and someone who wasn't half injured. So, like, I think realistically for Tui Pilotu, he has to look at this game and go, is this worth me risking my All Blacks season for a game that if I just accept the fact that I'm injured and get off the field, I might get to play another game of Super Rugby. I just dropped my mouse. Didn't end the live stream, so that's a bonus. 1 second, we'll go like this. Yeah, like this. We have got there, I should have just stayed home. I'm not talking about myself. Says Vic Mars, you're talking about Tui Pilotu? South Africa, they back Super Rugby. Says Raslin and go the mighty Hurricanes, Porirua. Says Val. South African team's doing better up north than they did in Super Rugby. We're currently 3 inside of the top 8 in terms of the overall standings. The only side outside of there is the Sharks. So, they're having some success. The benefit is time zones. Yes, there's a little bit of travel involved, but there was for Super Rugby as well. But, you look at time zone wise, it works a lot better for the South African teams. There are talks of them losing out or leaving the Champions Cup. So then that will free up a little bit more time for players to be able to recover and a bit more game management throughout the year as well. So, it seems like it's working all right. I love the Super Rugby, but I do miss the South African team, says Stuart. And the beauty of rugby is we all talking about the All Blacks 10 years ago, but now we're talking about the box. I think you have a skill, Ruby, and that is finding a way to have the box in every sentence. But you are right. Rugby can change at the international level every single year. And that's the beauty of it. In 5 years' time, we might be talking about France. We might be talking about England, Ireland, Spain. Who knows? Maybe they make their way up in the rugby rankings, similar to what they did in the sevens department. But that's the fun thing. You have a good year, you have a bad year, but you're still playing. And that's the benefit. Sides don't randomly disappear off the face of the earth internationally unless financial troubles hit them. Can't wait to play the South African clubs on the South African tour. Just love watching New Zealand sides play South African teams. Do you think they will, or how do you think the second half will go? I think the Hurricanes will look to do more of the same. They had the realization, I believe, when they looked for that 3, that wasn't the right choice. And from there, they've looked to be a little bit more aggressive. I think the Blues hope that they'll win this one. But the short time it took them to concede 14 points, turn this into a hunch fest. About if they're even good enough, says NZ Riot. And also we have got there, can we have a moment of silence for the Stormers supporters, please? Says Andrew. I mean, I wouldn't give them too many moments of silences. They're still through to the quarterfinals. And depending on what happens in those the quarterfinal matches, they could still have a home semi. So, don't get me wrong, they'll be disappointed to lose that game, but it could be worse. They could be the Sharks. Sorry, Sharks. That's harsh, isn't it? But it's, I would rather be a side that have lost inside of the top 8 than be a side outside of the top 8 in general, whether I win or lose as that team. Are we over there, Blues need a new coach? Says Roslin. Yeah, they're good right now, like Australia was in the 90s and England was in the early 2000s. Says Sock. And also agreed, says Candice. And there's, but I should mention the upcoming games for these two sides, or the upcoming game. If you are talking about the Blues, they have just got the one more game up against the Chiefs. That has taken place in 2 weeks' time, so they are the side with the bye just around the corner. For the Hurricanes Highlanders, that is going to be taking place as the Saturday 7:05 game next week, so that will be happening at the same time as this one. And then Crusaders versus Hurricanes the week after. Crusaders have 2 home games to finish off their year in terms of the regular season fixtures. So with that being said, the Blues do really need at least 1 bonus point from this game, or the Crusaders could overtake them. How do they determine what stadium to play at? As in for a home side, or as in for the season fixtures? I know that they normally base it off where the sides played the previous year, but it's the benefit of Super Rugby for the New Zealand sides in particular. Same with the Aussies. They play 1 at home, 1 away. So it's nice and easy. You have 1 game at Eden Park. You have 1 game away from home. In this case, was at Sky Stadium or Henry Stadium in Wellington. And then in terms of the home and away fixtures, or just the home or away fixture, up against an Aussie side, 1 year it will be somewhere, the next year it will be the other place. Damned up on Tuesday. Says the underdog. And I'm a Sharks fan and I'm not offended, says Ruby there. And we have got there, is this AI, says Pro Plebe? Yes. Tell you what, that'd be pretty fancy, wouldn't it? It's probably something that one day will become a thing. How you can just have someone talking on a live stream and then just input on the AI what you want them to say. And then they'll just randomly start saying it. Sing if you suspect a concussion. Oh no, sing out if you suspect a concussion was the one there that they are showing. They're doing the player safety ads, yet Tui Pilotu played that whole first half with an arm that might be damaged enough to leave him out for the whole season. But they've decided, oh, well, we'll keep him out there anyway. Again, set to put over 40 on the Blues again. I have an old Natal Black Sharks jersey, 80 styles, but I had to inherit it. Then AI Hamish can interview real Hamish, says Xander. I think the real person is better, says Demon the 11th. Kiwi Roberts going crazy, says Demon. And the Cronulla Shark says JD. But nonetheless, what we will quickly do while we are at it, ladies and gentlemen, we will look at the live standings. This is not the live standings, but I will give you an update of how we get to the live standings. So the Waratahs, they are on 26 points now, so they sit in 7th. The Hurricanes, they will move back to number 1, and currently, the way that this game sits, they are sitting on 50 points on the overall table. So a good lead forming here. And 3 or more tries in their opposition is exactly what they'll be aiming for. But the Blues, they aren't out of this game. 21-0 down. It's quite brutal for a first half of rugby. But the beauty of Super Rugby is we see a lot of tries scored normally. And the second half, if they can get some sort of momentum flowing at Eden Park, they can get in the right direction. The other thing is this could be their last home game. That's the scary thing for the Blues. Well, not really the scary thing, but the slightly unfortunate thing is if they were to lose this game and lose to the Chiefs next week, or the week after, they wouldn't have any more games at Eden Park unless all of the favourites lost. Then they would become one of the 2 who host the semi-final. Wing down, you're not AI because all AI content creators are designed to look like hot girls. Says Rugby Ready. We have there, how many mansions did you build this week? Not many mansions this week, which is good because mansions are large. Tui Pilotu is going back out there on the field. He's obviously keeping a brave face because there is no way that you can look at that first half and go Tui Pilotu is 100%. So we'll see what happens here, but I don't know what's happening. That's the only reason I can think. He's literally gone, I'm okay. And that's why they're leaving him out there. Maybe they iced it. Maybe they strapped it at halftime. So regardless of the final score, Canes need 1 point or 1 more try to retake top spot. Currently, they have got top spot. But yeah, just the 1 point would be all they need to go to number 1. Whereas from this game at the moment, they're getting 5. We're getting closer to the day when AI knows us better than we know ourselves. Says Pro Pleb. Nice take there from Warner Derns. Did start off this match with the try. 21 chicken nuggets. What's that got to do with anything? Who said it about nuggets? I'll tell you, man. He from Sparta told the coach where the sun shines. Says Sock. A ball taken by Hoskins at 2-2. Sam knocked back across. He's tried to join that breakdown, Tui Pilotu. A little bit methodical. It does make the clean out, I guess. Looking for the steal there, and Billy Proctor is the man who pops up with a Signa straight back on him. Could have been the turnover for the Blues. Ow, that's a hard landing for Iritara Inari. On the back of his head, bit of a counter ruck there from the Blues. Derry just knocks it on in the breakdown. He feels like it went backwards. But Ben O'Keefe says it is the scrum. Cortisone injections do wonders, says Della. Going to see the replay there. Signa was very close to getting the turnover straight after Billy Proctor managed to get one of his own. Just couldn't quite get onto the ball. He was on the man initially. Not many people clean their chicken nuggets before eating them, says Pro Pleb. Unusual situation with Tui Pilotu. Wonder what halftime talk was like, says Stuart. I'd like to think that someone said to him, are you all right? And he must have gone, yep, and decided that he can go. But you know, I don't know the extent of the injury, but I feel like it's something more than just half a knock because of how long he's been dealing with it in this matchup. The bonus point still in play for the Canes. It was about to be a scrum, but we get a reset. We had a few of those throughout the contest. A cry for the Blues today. I'm hoping for 20 plus because I'm a terrible better, says Ruby. Wait, so did you actually back the Blues to win 20 plus, Ruby, or was that just your scoreline that you felt was going to take place? There's been a canning. Kurt Eklund, he has made his way onto the field. That was due to Bradley Slater going off at halftime. Missed tackles, 25 from the Blues compared to the 9 of the Hurricanes. Now, 9 missed tackles is actually relatively high for a half. 25 is unheard of. And here's, of course, says Ruby. But now, Eritara Inari. Need to feed this scrum in. This one's going to come out the back. Told to use it. It looks like Flanders is going to take it from the back of the scrum. Inari passes to Barrett. It was in behind him. They've still managed to keep it. Here, the Hurricanes getting a whole load driven into Dutch. They've actually done well to shut him down today. Now, wide cut-out pass from Cole Forbes to get the ball back in the field of play, but they'll go back for the line-out. Our captain, if they are playing through an injury, give the spot to a healthy player, says Pro Pleb. Well, definitely when you've got a 6-2 split. Like, in this scenario, you don't lack an option of a replacement. So, yeah, it's confusing, that's for sure. I'm definitely going to watch the first half back because there was a moment where it happened in terms of the injury, but, yeah, I want to see what's happened since then for him. But what we know is he's missed 75% of his tackles since getting that injury, which is not a normal number for a player of his caliber. Now into the pocket, Sam Knott goes back to Bowden Barrett, goes up and under. Cole Forbes chasing after it, if anything, a little bit too deep in the kick there from Barrett, and Harkin uncontested. Is able to bring it down. Now, Eritara Inari. Now chipping behind, attempted here. Geordie Barrett claims it nicely. He's got Proctor with him. Goes for the grubber reminder. It becomes a foot race. Bowden Barrett just about manages to win the foot race. And I think it's going to be a goal line dropout here. And late tuning back in, who's penny replacement? In this case, no one. They've left him out there the whole time, even though he's injured. But yeah, he's moving slower than I've ever seen him move. In terms of for so early in a game. I might need to refresh the live scoreboard. Oh no, it's still got half time, isn't it? Doesn't want to start the second half. We're 44 minutes through. We'll give the mouse a bit of a wiggle. Sometimes that will fix it. Long goal line dropout. Now Devon Flanders running this one up. He sits down. Mason Tupaia. Now a bit of a counter ruck there from the Blues. Now Inari. Tuipulotu making the tackle on him slightly. Now loose ball. Sam Knock going for a fly kick. Same with Geordie Barrett. And no way else, Petty still on G. Yeah, I have no idea. But, like, it just seems strange. Now, Ruben Love kicking this one downfield. Nice take there from Bowden Barrett inside of the 22 again. He has Cole Forbes on his shoulder. He was still inside. Sends it down to halfway. And Mr. 10's Bowden Barrett. Now it sounds like some subs are about to be made here. All right, head injury assessment here for Hoskins. So to tell you what, that's the third Blue who's gone off the field for an HIA. These boys are getting hit in the head quite a bit for something that hasn't been checked. It's all on the mouth guard by the sounds of it. I know if Geordie was in the same position, he would give the position to a healthy player. Says Pro Blip. And also discipline footy of Bull Rush. Barbecue shenanigans, future All Black. Let's go till the wheels fall off. Says Shane. Now Segner charging forward. We Pilotu on his shoulder outs. Push him that little bit further. He's stuck underneath the breakdown now. Tuipulotu, it becomes an unplayable. Brilliant work from the Hurricanes to turn it into a maul. Cole Forbes. A little bit of push and shove there with Flanders. Sounds a bit American. Head injuries, says Ruby. I need to get Paddy an HIA for staying on, says Della. Reckons Satutu will play for England or nah. Not better than the current English loose forwards. I think the biggest problem that Satutu will have if he does look down the England route is he's competing with Ben Earl. So unless, and also one of the Willises, isn't he? So, like, it'll be a struggle to get in there. And he'd have to have a few really solid games for them once he is in there if he does want the chance to be able to hang around for a little while. The benefit they've got is They've got Earl who can play multiple positions. You've also got Pollock in the equation now for the English. You've got the Curries. Also, who else they got? Chandler Cunningham South is in there. Underhill, in terms of loose forward options. Don Brandt, he hasn't really been thrown around for a wee while, has he? In terms of the Quins number 8. I remember when he was going to be the next big thing, but then slightly went away. Now looking for the turnover and the breakdown. Should be the penalty to the Blues, and it is. Show us the video. The video's on Sky Sport 1. It's currently a very entertaining game too. The Blues will be looking to get their way back into this contest. Imagine New Zealand had 4, Holland 5 Derns. He was able to play for New Zealand in 6 Vai. But Harkin, he was initially tackled by Taeli. Then locked over the ball early. Wasn't willing to let that one go. He was hanging on for dear life and just managed to hang on long enough. Forced the penalty in his side's favour. They have kicked this one towards touch the Blues. They will be 25 metres out from the line. The line out chance. Kurt Eklund. The HIA replacement of Slater. We haven't seen Slater come back yet, so you'd assume that he has potentially failed that HIA. Maybe Beauden Barrett should be captain. So here's NZ Riot. Yeah, if it's the captaincy side of things they're worried about. They've also got Sam Darry, who has captained the Blues already this season to relatively decent effect. Now, another advantage, this time going against Xavier Numia and the rolling more Eklund. Still controlling it from the back, now breaking away. And dragged down by a Suff one more. Now across to Sam Nock. This is a very good chance for the Blues to strike for the first time in this game. AJ Lamb pick and go, tackled by a Moore. Been a busy man throughout the first 15 minutes, and he just got into a breakdown and almost managed to get the steal. Basilio Tossi making the tackle there. Couple metres short of the line for the Blues. Long way. Offside there for the Hurricanes, and it is going to be the penalty advantage in favour of the home team. Sam Nock looking right. Beauden Barrett shovels it. Oh, that's a really rough pass from Beauden Barrett, and that will go back now for the penalty in favour of the Blues. You can see the frustration on the face of the crowd as well with some of the moments that have happened for their side. Imagine Holland and Brodie as the lock-in duo. Yeah, England always talking about their players. I recall them saying Tom Curry will usurp. Richie McCaw. Marcus Smith will be greater than Dan Carter. Says Johnny. Right, making sure they're tapping this one with Kurt Eklund. He decides to leave it for Sam Nock to tap it. Now Malachi Rampling, tackled by Shields, although he powers over. And it's the first try of the match for the Blues. It's taken 50 minutes, but it could be the first of many. With a big momentum shift coming in the early stages of the second half. We must love the ABs. They make us better. There's Ruby, but third of the season for Malachi Rampling. Now with 30 minutes remaining, the gap will close to 14 points. The bonus point taken away from the Hurricanes. Still picking love against France. See Shane there. Kick from Beauden Barrett has gone over. And that is now going to make the score 21 points to 7. Still in favour of the Hurricanes, but it is the first for the Blues. It's Malachi Rampling who has been able to score it. He all but went to ground. Shields was trying to hold him up and then just powering over the line. Tuesday, absolutely. And who scored it? It was Malachi Rampling in the number 6 jersey for the Blues there. Will we see more than 60 points in total? I don't think so. I think this game, they'd struggle to get there. Putting up the big S for Cameron Saul-Foy as well. And Love will strike again. Kicked off here by Ruben Love. And nicely taken. Oh, it's a big shot on Taeli. Just been run over by Kenny Naholo, but he went straight in off his feet. And the breakdown slaps his hands out of frustration. I guess a slapping of one's hand is just a clap, isn't it, when you think about it? But you don't really, well, I guess an angry clap from Kenny Naholo. Yep, Sam Nock kicks this one into touch. And will now be the line out for the Canes. Now, yeah, Malachi ramples over the try line. So here's Tanner. 87 matches for Sam Nock. He's getting closer to that 100. And Blues still got a chance. They absolutely do. Still plenty of time remaining. We see a few changes now being made. There will be Siali Luaki, who will make his way on. And I wonder about the Canes' big match temperament and crucial moments when things are tight, says Eugene. It's going to be tested a little bit here. It was tested in that game up against the Crusaders, and they seemed to be able to handle it not too badly. In the Chiefs matchup, it did seem like the Chiefs got the better of it near the end. That looks like a big shot on Kini Naholo. Flattened out the big man. He is actually still down. Okay, he got flattened out because he may have actually been slightly knocked out there. Kini Naholo, or at least winded. He's back up to his feet now, though, and a soft one more, still running it forward for the Hurricanes. Now, he goes out to Kini Naholo. That's the last thing you want when you've just taken a big knock, is to get the ball back in your hands and have to carry again. Bit of a counter ruck there for the Blues. It's still on the side of the Canes. Ruben Love has to play half. Now to Delaney in his milestone match. On the halfway line, Love goes to a soft one more. And front row's extremely big in gears. I can name 20 Springboks and Australian Lucies. Oh, nice offload from Brad Shields. To Geordie Barrett. And an advantage now in play. It's for side entry. Rampling tried to get in there quickly for the turnover chance. Segner's also looking for the steal. It's getting Naholo back. He is. Yep, came off the bench last week. Scored 2 tries in about 2 minutes. And now getting his first start since his long-term injury that left him out for quite some time. Geordie Barrett receives the inside pass again here. Another penalty advantage in favour of the Hurricanes. They currently don't have that bonus point. They're looking to take it back here. A little bit of a slip from Proctor. Now Delaney runs into the wall of Auckland and Tupaia. Moving left, rush defence from Taeli forces the error, so they will now go back for the penalty. Australia could even beat the baby box. So here's Rugby ready. Siali Loaki is a good player. So here's John. Against Moana, so here's Luke. That one's going to be put into touch. Be about 5 metres out from the line, and again, the aggressive mindset from this Hurricanes team, rather than kicking for the threes. I think that, like I said, Ruben Love missing that kick was probably the best thing that could have happened for the Hurricanes in terms of their mindset in this game. They've been in control at times, and the Blues have had a couple times where they've been close to receiving a card, so you've got to keep that pressure going. I didn't mean to punch my keyboard there. Now, Safua more. On out throw here again, going to the back of the line out this time. The Blues not throwing someone up, but instead engaging nice and early into that rolling maul to defend it, and they have done very well. Now, Henry inside ball to Kini Naholo. It was the no-look pass, and he goes over for the 4th try of the contest for the Hurricanes. Is the Hurricanes about to score? They certainly are, and they did. How much time left, lads? Says Wesley. Currently 25 minutes remaining in this contest. Don't get angry, please. The keyboard didn't do anything. And nicely set up, that says JD. And yeah, it was early defence from the Blues in terms of that rolling maul. They actually shut it down straight away, but it's the inside ball that completely sold the Blues defence the wrong way. Away as Safua Moore wearing number 21 shirt now because he had his other shirt ripped, so they had to replace it about 15 minutes into the game, I believe it was. Do the Draw have a chance to make the playoffs? Still technically, but it is going to take quite the effort. They would need to win both of their games from here, and a couple other results have to go their way too in terms of other matches. 4 tries automatic bonus point? No. In Super Rugby, it is 3 or more than your opposition. So because of getting themselves a 3-try lead, they're back in the bonus point stakes, but if the Blues were to score again, that cancels out that bonus point. So, yeah, you need a confident win rather than just the 4 tries to give you one for the Super Rugby comp. Who scored it was Kini Naholo. Didn't manage to score it off the inside pass of Eritana Enery. Very nicely done. And a nice pass from Kickoff Enery. And also we have got the even place shirts versus skins. Now, we normally would have had like bibs or tags or anything like that. Normally is the easier way of separating teams. That one's going to go towards the touchline for Zahn Sullivan. And also we have got there one try left, I assume that is from Splash TV without the E. 24 minutes remain now. The Blues, they have to find a way to get a bonus point. Lachlan McWannell is now on the field for Patrick Tuipulotu. So obviously there was an initial game plan that involved Tuipulotu coming off at this stage of the match. Either that or they finally decided that he's had enough of the injury and maybe they should take him off just in case. Are you doing the game after? No, we're actually missing that Western Force versus Reds game. Do you prefer every competition having different point systems, or would you prefer they all the same bonus point rules? I think it's up to the competitions. It's easy enough to follow. Like, you just got to, I guess, watch the first round of a comp or look up the rules and you know exactly what's happening. Like, it gets slightly confusing at times, but I do like the 3 tries more than your opposition. I think that the losing side getting a bonus point for scoring 4 tries feels like a real consolation point. How much of a game plan they're losing. So yeah, the rugby ready. Yeah, well, that was why they waited so long, I think, to take Tuipulotu off. Because he's been injured since about the 6th minute of this game, and they left him on for an extra 50. Hopefully he just hasn't done any more long-term damage. Bit of a counter-ruck there from Caleb Clark, but the ball still stays on the side of the Canes. Naholo has a problem permitting. Who's playing after this? Western Force and the Reds are the next game, but we have got a couple games of the URC throughout the night as well. Now this one's put high. Chasing after it was Kenny Naholo, but he didn't even get... Oh, sorry, it wasn't Kenny Naholo. It was Fihi Norfolk, but Geordie Barrett taking the high ball very nicely. That is something that he still has up his sleeve. Ruben Love looking for the kick him behind. Kenny Naholo charging after it. Awkward bouncing ball for Barrett. Naholo gets him early. Blues under pressure again, just outside of their 22. And that's interesting. Malachi Rappling just accepting the tackle on him so that they can go for the kick downfield. In fact, there might have actually been Shay Clark. I believe he's made his way onto the field too. To win my bet, I need 65 points total. That'll be tricky. Are you going to live after this game? Not for the next game of Super Rugby, but we are going to be live for the 2 games of the URC throughout the night. Bulls versus Benetton, as well as Lions versus Munster. The 2 that we might be here for. Safoa number 27 on his back. Brad Shields and Caleb Delaney will make their way off. That is going to be for Braden Yossi and Isaiah Walker Leowiri. Come on, points. Here's Wesley. Peanut butter does not go with baked beans. I mean, I respect the fact that you decided, you know what, here's something I haven't heard of anyone trying. Or at least I haven't heard of anyone trying the combo. Yeah, I can't imagine it would be great. Now going away to the right-hand side, Braden Yossi shovels the ball on. Porirekiti Stones is also out there for Xavier Numia, who won the Bodie versus Ruben battle. Probably Ruben, and he hasn't had to do a huge amount to be in that equation. I think Ruben Love's had a solid enough game, but Bowden Barrett's had a shocker. So it's made it nice and easy for Love to look like the better of the 2. Now Enari goes across to Warner Derns. Billy Proctor, that's smart, hanging on to that ball, waiting for the offload opportunity as the player was way out on the wing. Now Fihifini Norfo, that's a forward pass out to Braden Yossi. Apparently we're not calling those today. And it's going to be chipped in behind Fihifini Norfo. He will score the try. It's just a forward pass every day of the week though, unless of course they're going to try and roll it as the hand's going backwards, but it looked forward by about 2 metres. However, they didn't plan so much after the game? No. So we're sitting about, by the time this game ends, it will be around 9 o'clock New Zealand time. And we've got an all-nighter coming up. So we're going to be, well, I guess it's not an all-nighter because I'm going to sneak a couple hours sleeping beforehand. But Fihifini Norfo, he is now tied for the most tries of all time with Joe Roth and Ben Lamb. But we're going to see this replay of the pass again. I think this one went forward, if we're being completely honest about it, for Fihifini Norfo. Okay, the comment from Moles Muliaina there in the commentary box, he just said that looked like a pretty forward pass, was his comment there. But it seems like we don't check those. Like I said, we've probably seen 4 of them today and only one of them has been called, and that was the one that was least forward out of all of them. But Ruben Love has missed that one away to the left-hand side, and the score will remain 33 points to 7. I mean, this game is over anyway, so the rest probably don't care anymore, says Rugby Ready. Yeah, good hands from Braden Yossi, and the chip in behind too, and it was a steep old bounce, which made it awkward for Caleb Clark. That's where I think Finley Christie made a big mistake. He decided to go with the same line as Clark rather than waiting for the second bounce of the ball, or the big pop of the ball instead. How about the huge points after Northampton versus Bristol? Yeah, that game was a bit insane, wasn't it? 125 or 27 points or something throughout the game. Looks like Beauden Barrett has made his way off the field now with 19 minutes remaining. Do you like chicken salt? I don't mind chicken salt depending on the type. We have got their score is blown out, says Rishi. And just checking the system, says Ruby. Now rolling it back. Eddie Tata Henry, 25 metres out from his line. Ridiculous refereeing. It's definitely at least worth a look, isn't it, that type of pass? But, knocked on from Cole Forbes. Injury update says Luke. Nothing about Tui Pilotu as of yet, but I think we'll find out during the week whether or not he did have an injury. Or whether it was just maybe the knock early on that rattled him a bit. Now, Henry goes across to Ruben Love. Still space on the outside. Okay, that one's not called as forward. That one was less forward than the last one, so I was waiting for them to call that and then get themselves in all sorts of trouble. But Eddie Tara Henry now going across to Ruben Love. Nice hands from Lowaki. Takes it nicely behind him. Johnny Rova is on the field for Geordie Barrett. Now another penalty advantage in favour of the Hurricanes. Ruben Love has been lovable enough tonight, but nothing brilliant, says NZ Riot. Yeah, like I'd say Love's probably at for me, is 6 or 7 out of 10 too harsh for Ruben Love? I'll give him like a 6.5 out of 10. But again, that's still probably at least 3 points more than Bowden's got from his game today. So, he's been made to look very solid because there's just been no pressure on him. How much would it hurt the ABs if Paddy is out for the season? Probably quite a bit. Which is why I was so surprised it'll hurt the Blues as well. Which is why I would have taken them off a lot earlier than they did. Time remaining says stay hunky. Currently we have got, 1 second, I've got to shake the mouse. We've got 17 and a half minutes remaining here. Can you see Brody coming back next year for the ABs? Depends on what that eligibility situation is. I feel like that's one of those ones that could definitely play factor. Yep, thrown in by Raymond Tupu. Even the Kiwis are badgering Barrett. You're allowed to say if a player's had a bad game. Oh, that's a try for Raymond Tupu. Breaking off the back. This scoreline is pretty rough looking at the moment, to say the very least. It is similar to what we saw between the Waratahs and the Fijian draw, although the Fijian draw at least came back a little bit in their contest. And the Blues sure got the Blues. That's for sure, says Moa Hunter. Imagine Sashi FM. He would be a dead man walking. So everything's a bit different. Yeah, he had a shocker in that Stormers game, didn't he? For his side. Compared to his normal standard, he was pretty poor as a whole, Sasha. Raymond Tupu on the short side. Sees the gap, and I think they were expecting them to pop on the left of the maul rather than the right. We have there any update on Caleb Tangitau? He gave an update on his Instagram saying that he's out for the year. Now, that could have also been just emotion from the moment, but yeah, I think he's out for the rest of 2026, sadly, with the injury. But that is going to be over from Ruben Love, making the score now 40 points to 7 here. Like they're saying, it's turned into a bit of a slaughtering in this one. This is what the Canes win. And how many years not winning from Eden Park? They've lost their last 5. And I know, says Rishi. We have there, Hamish, you're amazing, no sneezes tonight. That's true. We haven't had any sneezes yet. We had a phone ringing during one of the live streams. You and Mr. Stats from now on, Hamish? Well, you are Mr. Stats. I think nobody expected the scoreline this crushing. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I went Hurricanes by 5. And I thought that was going to be one of those ones that could go down to the wire. But this is just anything but. And we've got to remember, like, yes, wins are important, but differential. If it comes down to the wire, the Blues and the Crusaders, if the Blues lose their next 2 games, the Crusaders, the Crusaders need to win both. They might be all right, the Blues. But there is a chance that the Crusaders take over that 3rd place position in the standings. Best 10s in Super, says JD. Tangitau, huge loss for the ABs this season, says Tama. Huge points by the Hurricanes, says Luke in there as well. The Hurricanes attack is pretty consistent and devastating, says Rishi. Just had the realisation, if they have 3 New Zealand home semi-finals, home playoff finals, what time do we think the games would take place? Did they have a Friday night fixture 7:05, a Saturday night fixture 7:05? Would they go an early 4:35 p.m. kickoff on the Saturday? Would they play a game maybe on the Sunday? I don't know. Might be an early game, maybe the 4:35 p.m. kickoff for one of the games. They'll all be must-see, though, I think. And Kieran Tomei Falau, see Johnny Blaze. Now we have there Gata Fatangitao, who's another potential winger for the All Blacks. Well, I think it puts... Oh, it's a good short ball in the run from AJ Lamb. He is not, because he's going overseas, but it's a good, solid showing of pace from AJ Lamb there. The Blues have got one. Took them 50 minutes to score their first, 16 minutes on top of that to score their second. The Blues Spirits. If you understand your pain, at least you guys make the final. We watch from the stand, says Sock. Now, lining up the kick here, it is Stephen Perafeta. Nice line, AJ Lamb. Yeah, as soon as he was through, no one was catching him. Perafeta missing that one straight out in front of the post. That is not ideal for the Blues in terms of points. How many were from NPC to Super Rugby for the Canes side? Like Naholo is one. How many were from NPC to Super Rugby for the Canes side? As in, like, they played last season in the NPC to then get promoted into Super Rugby, or originally? What happened to the Blues today? They just, I don't know. It's been brutal, though. I have to say, this is far from their best game. Now, going to be the kickoff here for the Hurricanes. They're in no hurry. Yeah, promoted, although Kenny Naholo has been in Super Rugby for about 3 or 4 years. He was at the Canes. He also had a season at the Crusaders, I believe. Oh, no, that might have been his brother. I think Waisaki went to the Crusaders at one point after his Landers days. But now going off to the left-hand side to AJ Lamb, trying to get through Proctor, hangs on to the ankles. Does drag him down. I have 3 games. I think it would opt for a 4 or 4 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. kickoff for one of them, says Stewart. You'll be interested to say we'll see which direction they go, because I would assume they'd go in... Oh, okay. Theoretically, ladies and gents, let's say Crusaders Blues is one of the playoff games, which it actually looks like it could be at this stage. That's probably a Friday night fixture, isn't it? Because whoever the Brumbies or the Reds play will want the 7:05 on Saturday. And I would say that the Reds probably get the 4:35 p.m. kickoff. They'll probably go Brumbies 7:05 if they were going to. Now, nice run from Peter Larkai. This is all maths that really doesn't matter at the moment, though, because certain sides may still miss out, and also they will decide when the games are taking place. Now, loose ball picked up by Anton Segner. Proctor makes another tackle. He's been busy in this game. 5 nice stable points. Catch up, Chiefs. Says NZ Riot. And the Blues with Bowden Barrett running the show. Bad, says Johnny. Now, knock on from the Blues. No knock on from the Blues. So will we play on? Ruben Love kicks it back downfield. Don't ever write off Canterbury. Exactly right. And, you know, they lost a few games early on, but they've got a chance of a home final here. Or at least a home playoff final, I should say. Now going left-hand side, Caleb Clark cutting inwards. Now Finley Christie across to Stephen Perafeta. Another advantage is now going to be in play. Have you streaming forwards versus Reds? No, we're actually taking that one off, believe it or not. But it should be a good one. And it is going to be a good one because we're not covering it. Normally when we cover an Aussie game or an Aussie derby, the one that we cover ends up not being as good as the ones that we don't cover. So I'm slightly purposely leaving that one, not just to get a bit of sleep, but also hoping that it turns out to be a really good game. Both sides have some very strong moments. Player of the match. They're showing Brad Shields as an option. I think Segner's also probably the pick of the players for the Blues, if you were to look at the underdog side. Seen a solid game from Geordie Barrett. Peter Larkai's been good in the loose forward trio. Just showing the players off of the bench. Have already made their way back on. Now, Geordie Phil-Ewan. Oh. Okay, so Eri Tara Eneri, they've just said, is playing so well that he's going to go to the wing and replace Whihi Whinianofo. Jordi Filiuan will play halfback. So I guess that's almost their equivalent of that 6-2 split in a way, even though they did only go with the 5 forwards. Now Billy Proctor kicks that one into touch. Like they're saying, Whihi Whinianofo will get the chance to be able to bring up history for himself. Become the highest try scorer of one individual season. I will be on 54 if I was there, says Rugby Ready. And also, who do you think is going to be the best player? I think that... I don't know who I'll give it to in this game in terms of man of the match. I think Asafo Moy had a really strong first half. In fact, you could pick about 6 Canes players and they'd be up there. And then for the Blues, like I said, Segner's probably the leader in that side of things, but I don't think they'd give a man of the match to a side that lost by 28 points or could lose by that much, how it currently sits. Is Geordie Barrett back in New Zealand? He is. He was playing in this game. We have got there, I'm not going overseas. Or if not going overseas, an injury for Whinianofo and Tangitel be lethal AB's wingers this year. There's Laurie. Barnes has made his way on for Malachi Rampling here as well. This one's still rolling nicely here for the Blues. Slowly marching. It's well defended though by Warner Dearns, who just ran right through the middle of everyone, tied the ball up and somehow turned it over. Now, I think that was playing the ball from the ground for the Hurricanes, but how they've ended up with that position, but it is going to be play on again. Now, 8.5 minutes remain. Cross to the left-hand side. Isaiah Walker, Leo Whitty shovels it on to Devon Flanders. No, he doesn't. That was Devon Flanders to then Warner Dearns. Jordi Filiuan. To Larkai, short ball to Rakati Stones. By Torian Barnes, whereas Josh Morby injured at this stage. But should be back not too far in the future, I believe. If I am correct, I'll get you his exact return date in a very short moment. Injury unavailable list. Although this is a chance now. Running down the wing. Jordi Filiuan in a foot race. What a tackle by Caleb Clark. Uh-oh, he's injured himself. He has hurt the knee or the hamstring or something in his leg, making a crucial spot tackle at the back for the Blues. That is a phenomenal showing of pace from Caleb Clark. It looked like they were going to rip it away and score for all money, but Jordi Filiuan, Caleb Clark has had to cover a huge amount of turf to get across there. And Filiuan's fresh as well, we're going to remember, and Clark still managed to motor him down. And this game is sealed up tighter. Freshly rolled samosa. But yeah, Hurricanes-wise, well, Morby's not actually listed on the injury list, which is quite interesting, but he has got an ankle injury, they mentioned. Now running this one forward. Now Torian Barnes back up to his feet. And another penalty, this time awarded to the Blues. Quick tap taken by Finley Christie. Need more bonus tries, Canes. Says Roslin looking for the offload. Christie goes up to Rampling. Another offload. This is nice from the Blues. Some good link-up play. Segner down the wing. Goes for the grubber, but it's Poldy. Rickety Stones who manages to retreat in time for the Canes. Segner thought about going quickly, but won't be able to. But Rickety Stones, he knew that all he had to do there was just get that ball out. Or else it could have been the penalty for the Blues. He's done well there, the big loose here prop replacement. And now we've got there. Great, now he's going for the year. And as we get the season, Hurricane season coming. So here's Ruth. ABs have to invest in Ruben Love and develop him. For AB season injuries, even more crucial. Are even more cruel. Now ready to throw this one in again for the Blues. 5 metres out and the rolling maul opportunity to try and get another one before the end of this contest. It is not impossible. They're also in a very good position at the moment with a bit of forward momentum in their favour. 5 minutes remain. They need 2 more tries to cancel out the Hurricanes bonus point. That's another one. Morning, mate. Says, please welcome in. And it looks like the try is going to be scored by Kurt Eklund. Putting up the S as well. Imagine if the Hurricanes had Sasha. Says Rugby Ready. What, rather than Ruben Love? Are we talking about Sasha from like previous URC games or the Sasha from last night's game up against Cardiff? I think if they had Sasha from last night, they could have lost this game. Definitely if they had the mindset of going for 3-pointers rather than going for the 7s. They did try it once in this game. It backfired for them. Let's go the Blues. Another 3 tries in 5 minutes. I have faith, says Johnny Blaze. This one's going to make it a little bit closer on the score sheet. And that one has gone over, and that is, has gone over, sorry. So it has made the score 40 points to 19. And who do you support in the comp? I don't really have a team, believe it or not. I'm going to Chiefs Crusaders next week, which would be a really good one. That's bad tactics, not a bad play. So what about his handling errors? Were they also tactical? I mean, to be fair, the Stormers had a strong scrum, so I guess you'd want to have a few scrums if you have a pack like that. But going to be now about 4 minutes remaining on the clock. You know, Sasha was a headless chicken last night. Yeah, one of his worst games for the Stormers this year, but hopefully that turns around and he plays good in the playoffs in a couple of weeks' time. Now, Torian Barnes. You got a live stream for the Crusaders game? No, that would be illegal if I was to try and do anything from the ground. But we are going to have Haino filling in for me, and we might do something after the game. Like I might, on the walk back to the motel, or the Airbnb I think we're staying at. I'm not actually sure where we're staying. But, Ruben Love's got an injury. I think it's just cramp, though. And it's going to be a knock-on from the Blues, which gives the Hurricanes the ball back. Handling errors are acceptable when you're a kicking machine. I'll remember that. If only so many players outside of Sasha were given that leniency. I feel like a lot of guys drop a ball once and everyone gets really angry at them. But as long as you're a good player, I guess you're allowed to drop the ball occasionally. But if you're not, people will let you know about it. One more try for the Blues, says Galaxy Gaming. Have you been to Tikaha Stadium yet? No. So going next week just so that I can see it, because I didn't get tickets to the France All Blacks game because we are going to be covering it on the channel. So yeah, that's going to be first experience. I'm going to go get some hot chips. That's the main goal. Find out the price of the hot chips, compare it to the last stadium. Two and a half minutes left now. And we have got there, if Jesus walked on water in front of you, you don't go, hey, that guy can't swim. Did you really just compare Sasha to Jesus? That's quite the comparison there. And that's going to be a knock on there. Now the Blues with another counter-attacking chance. And like I said, they can actually take away a bonus point from the Canes here. Oh, but that's great body position from Johnny Rova. Didn't quite get the steal. Now Stephen Perafetta moving forward again. And a missed tackle from the Canes. Torian Barnes offloads up to Caleb Clark. But Devon Flanders gets him. Are you from Australia or New Zealand? I am from New Zealand. Another drop ball. This time it bounces back for the Blues yet again. And that's a penalty. No, literally just saying that picking is unfitting. Well, you know a thing or two about that, don't you? But 90 seconds now remaining. And a quick tap taken by the Blues again. Finley Christie. Going to the right-hand side, and that is close to being driven into touch for Taeli, and that's illegal from Johnny Rover. He will get sent to the bin here. He was saying he was on his feet, but it doesn't mean he's allowed to play the 9. And that is now going to send him off the field for the next 70 seconds, because the game is almost over. Quick tap taken by the Blues again. The benefit was Johnny Rover was right next to the sideline at the time that he had it, but the ball stolen by Peter Larkai, and no. He gave it away. He looked at the referee about 3 times in a row to make sure that he wasn't getting penalised. Here comes Sam Derry. The Blues are close to the line. Derry reaches out and scores it. And that will take away the bonus point. That is the 4th of the night now for the Blues. So they haven't got the win here, but they've at least cancelled something from the Canes. Gives the opportunity for the Chiefs next week up against the Crusaders to take that number 1 spot back, depending on what happens in the Hurricanes fixture too. I like that Torian Barnes. Always makes correct decisions and is a strong ball runner. Way to squander a bonus point, says Dunk. Yeah, they were firmly in control. Stephen Petafetti's missed that one. There's still actually time remaining. But they can't get a bonus point from this game, the Blues. The most that they can end up on is 31. Or actually, correction, Hurricanes can still get a bonus point here if they are the next team to score. So they will have to go aggressive. I hope that they are aware that they are only 2 tries ahead currently. Blues can't get a bonus from this game, so Hurricanes might as well throw caution to the wind. The Blues, if they're strategic, will kick this ball out when they get it in hand. But it's whether or not they play for pride and start to get a little bit mixed up about it. The Hurricanes, they're going to kick this one off just the 10 metres. It is knocked on by Caleb Clark, so the Lakai chance here for the Canes to get the bonus. All is on their side. Geordie Filiu, Warner Durns back across Ruben Love. Billy Proctor cutting inwards. The last thing that the Blues can afford is to give away an advantage, and that almost was one. Rushing up was Mason Tupai, a knock on. And they'll go back for that penalty for offside. Lucky timing for the Hurricanes as there was the drop ball from Lucky not too long after. Well, let's go see Galaxy Gaming. Right. Ruben Love with a bonus point. Chance to kick it towards the corner Saturday, 23rd of May. Highlanders, here we come. Go the Canes. Says Val. That one's going to be put out only 5 metres out from the try line now for this Hurricane side. This more than 3 tries rule should be changed back to the bonus point for 4 tries scored. See, I don't mind the 3 or more than your opposition. I think that giving a side that scored 4 tries or giving a side a point that scored 4 tries, if the opposition has scored, let's say, for instance, 10 tries, the side that lose by a big margin just because they've scored 4, I don't think deserve the point. And it's harsh, and I know that depending on who the sides are and what scenario probably depends on the opinion of it, but I'm of the mindset that at least if you get a bonus point for 3 or more tries, you've won comfortably, and you deserve that bonus, and that's what the Hurricanes have just been able to do. They've finished it off with a rolling maul try for Peter Lakai right at the end of the game. So the Blues took it away from them just to then have it taken straight back in the closing moments of the game. But Peter Lakai, his 5th of the season. That was a bit of an emotional roller coaster for the final 20, or maybe less than that actually, about probably 10 minutes of this game. Come on, the Hurricanes, says Ruth. And there as well, but Lakai goes over. We want Amish, Bill Amish. Every game, he is king of commentary, and bonus point reclaims his dunk. Yeah, it seemed like it was out of the equation for a second after that last try from the Blues. Ruben Love's still going to try and take this kick. Tell you what, if you're Ruben Love here, you say someone else can take it because he's going to cramp up no matter what happens here. So it's not going to be nice for the leg. Here we go, Ruben Love kicks it. He limps his way to the tee, and that will be the end of this game. The Hurricanes win it 47 points to 24. A bit of a comeback from the Blues in the second half, but it was not enough. And the Hurricanes, they cement themselves another bonus point, and they move back to number 1 in the overall standings for Super Rugby at the end of this round. There is still the Reds versus Western Force, but neither side can catch them. And the Blues, they will leave this game without a bonus point in play, which gets very intriguing now as we progress. Because if we go like this, and we go like this as well, now with the way that the table sits, ladies and gents, it means that if the Reds were able to get themselves a big win over the Western Force, they would go above the Crusaders and move to 4th. Then the Reds and Crusaders both have a chance of catching the Blues. The craziest thing about the Super Rugby Pacific competition, and I'm not saying this is going to happen before people get angry about it, but theoretically, points remaining, everything along those lines, the Blues can still miss out on the top 6, which is absolutely insane. If they lose their next game and don't receive any points, the Crusaders win both of theirs, the Brumbies win both of theirs, and the Reds win their 3, Brumbies might play the Reds though. That might save it. No, Brumbies play Moana, Reds play Moana, and then Brumbies play the Waratahs, Reds play the Fijian Drua, as well as the Force. That can happen, which is insane. How late we are in the season that a side can go from 3rd in the last 2 rounds down to 7th. But that shouldn't happen. And I'm not going to try and jinx it. Kane steamrolled the Blues in the first half, then focused on controlling. Well done. And also we were there. Cheers, mate, for another great live stream. Thank you very much. We have got there. Cheers, Hamish, for the stream. See you, Setimus. And great call and shocking game. See you, Sock. And thanks, Hamish, for the commentary. Enjoy your supper or your nap. says Eugene. So yeah, the next game that we are going to be back for is going to be Benetton versus the Bulls. That is at 2 a.m. New Zealand time. So that is taking place in around 5 hours time. Be sure to tune in for that one. But thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.